The Force is a tool, a weapon, a curse. You once believed in its power to protect, to bring balance. You were a Jedi, trained to uphold peace, to fight for the galaxy. But peace is fragile, and the galaxy was never as pure as you were taught. The Clone Wars shattered everything. The Jedi were hunted, betrayed, slaughtered, and in that darkness, you were reborn, not as a Jedi, but as something else. You are an Inquisitor. Once, you wore the robes of a Jedi, a guardian of the light. Now, you hunt those you once called brothers and sisters. The Jedi are no longer your allies. The Empire has claimed you, and your purpose, your sole mission, is to destroy what you once protected. Every life you take, every Jedi you bring to their knees, is one step further away from the person you were. The rage, the anger, it feels good, but underneath it all there's still that flicker of something you can't quite let go of. The light you once followed, the voice that echoes from the past, telling you that you could still be more. But you know the truth now. There is no room for doubt, no room for hesitation. The Emperor needs you. Darth Vader needs you. You are the blade, the hand of the Empire, and you will stop at nothing to ensure that the Jedi, that your past is erased. As you step into the darkness, with nothing but your lightsaber and the weight of the Empire's will, you know what's at stake. The galaxy is broken. The Jedi are scattered. But you are the hunter, the predator. And in the end, there can be no peace. Not for you, not for the galaxy. You've lost track of how many Jedi you've hunted, how many innocent lives you've ended. Each strike of your blade brings you one step closer to completing your mission, but every victory feels hollow. They were once your kin, your family, but now they are nothing more than obstacles in your path. The Empire demands your loyalty, and you give it without question. You remember the first Jedi you hunted after your transformation. They were just a Padawan, barely more than a child. The fear in their eyes as they tried to escape, to run, it haunted you. Was this really your purpose? To hunt down the very people you had once sworn to protect? You didn't hesitate. You couldn't afford to. The Inquisitors weren't made for hesitation. You killed them just as you had been trained, just as Vader had instructed. The mission was clear. No mercy. But with every life you take, with every Jedi you destroy, you feel the weight of the past dragging you down. It's there in the stillness of the night, when the world is quiet and you find yourself staring at your reflection in a cold, unforgiving surface. What happened to the Jedi who swore to defend the galaxy? What happened to the hope that once burned inside you? Gone. The Empire needed you. Darth Vader needed you. You're not a Jedi anymore. You're not even a soldier. You are an instrument of fear, a reminder to the galaxy that the Sith have risen, that the Jedi are dead. And you, once the very thing you are now hunting, are the one who will see them wiped from existence. Your missions become more brutal as time goes on. You're sent to the farthest corners of the galaxy, hunting down whispers, rumors, forced signatures that might indicate a Jedi presence. The Emperor's reach grows, and so does your power, but with every hunt, with every capture or kill, you find yourself losing more and more of what you once were. There's no time for reflection in this life. The Empire demands results. It demands that you be cold, efficient. There's no room for sentiment, no space for weakness. You've seen it firsthand. The Jedi's way of mercy, their compassion, it's what led to their downfall, and now you're the one who will make sure they never return. You're the one who will ensure the galaxy remains under the Empire's grip. But sometimes, in the dead of night, you hear their voices again, the Jedi, their teachings, the memory of their faith in the Force. They remind you that there was once a purpose greater than power, that there was something worth fighting for, but you push it down, again and again, just as you've pushed everything else into the dark corners of your mind. There's no going back. The Empire has made sure of that. You are an Inquisitor, and that's all you'll ever be. You've hunted down dozens of Jedi, wiped out cells of resistance, and left your mark on the galaxy. But when you're sent after a particular Jedi, one whose presence in the Force is undeniable, one whose power could rival even that of your own, the true test comes. This Jedi is different. They're not just hiding, they're waiting. It feels like a trap, but you're too far in now. The Emperor demands results. You track them to an abandoned temple long forgotten by the galaxy. As you step inside, the darkness feels different. It presses against you, whispers in your ear. The Jedi you're hunting is here, waiting for you. The anticipation is unbearable. When you face them, you see the face of someone you knew once. A former comrade, a fellow Jedi, someone who fought alongside you before the war. They don't draw their lightsaber at first. Instead, they speak to you. They beg you to remember who you were. They remind you of the bond you once shared. The words sting. You know the Jedi's tactics. They've tried it before, but this time, it's different. This time, you can feel the conflict inside you. For a moment, the mask slips. You hesitate, just for a second. But the Empire's hold on you is too strong. You can't allow yourself to falter. With a sharp exhale, you ignite your saber, and the duel begins. Lightsabers clash in the silence of the temple, the sound of the Force filling the air. Your failure to defeat this Jedi haunts you. You survived. Yes, but you know that the Emperor will not tolerate weakness. The fear of failure gnaws at you, but it also fuels something deeper. This Jedi, your former friend, has shown you that there is a possibility of redemption, a chance that you can still fight for something greater than yourself. But can you allow that seed to grow without jeopardizing everything you've worked for? Can you survive the Empire's wrath and the wrath of the Jedi, should they learn of your hesitation? The more you struggle with your inner conflict, the more you realize the truth. The life of an Inquisitor is one of eternal darkness. There is no redemption here, no mercy, only the hunt, only the mission. And with every strike, with every kill, you feel the pieces of the person you once were slipping further and further away. You are not just hunting Jedi anymore. You are hunting yourself. The shadows of the past have a way of creeping up on you when you least expect them. The Empire's grip on the galaxy tightens with each passing day, and as an Inquisitor, you are its sharpest weapon. But as much as you hunt, as much as you kill, the feeling of emptiness never leaves. You hunt Jedi, yes. You track their every move, wipe out their hidden sanctuaries, kill them without mercy. But you can never erase what you were, what you still feel. In your solitude, between assignments, you find your mind wandering back to that day, the day you turned your back on the Jedi and embraced the dark side of the Force. You were torn then, as you are now. But then, there was only one path left to survive, to embrace the darkness, to prove your worth to the Empire. You thought that would fill the hole inside you, but it hasn't. Every life you take, every Jedi you hunt, seems to make that hole even bigger. Yet, the Empire needs you. The Emperor demands your loyalty, and loyalty, you've learned, is a two-way street. The Emperor gave you a purpose, He gave you the power to hunt the very people you once called family. He gave you the chance to make them pay for what they did to the Republic, for the way they abandoned you and the Order. That is your duty. There is no room for doubt. There is no room for hesitation. But then, you hear a whisper. The Jedi you've been hunting isn't just another target. They're different. A new presence in the Force. Older, wiser, and more powerful than any Jedi you've faced before. You've tracked them across multiple systems, and now you've finally cornered them. The dark side of the Force tingles in anticipation. This is it, the end of the line. You arrive on the desolate world where your quarry has hidden themselves. The place is a graveyard of ancient ruins, the perfect hiding spot for someone who wants to escape the Empire's reach. But as you step into the ruins, you feel it, the oppressive weight of the Force. This is no ordinary Jedi. The air is thick with the dark side, so strong it nearly chokes you. You've faced Jedi before. You know their tricks, their patience, their serenity. They are weak, bound by their belief in peace. But this one is different. They do not fight like the others. They do not run. They simply wait. Your blade is drawn, your steps are steady, and the hunt is almost over. The end is near. But as you approach the Jedi, you feel a sense of foreboding, an unease that you can't explain. You push it aside. You've been hunting for too long to let anything stand in your way. Then, you see them. Their back is turned, their lightsaber resting by their side. They don't look at you. Instead, they seem to be meditating, as though they knew you were coming. Their calm demeanor, so utterly Jedi, infuriates you. They've been running from the Empire for years, and yet here they are, unafraid, unbroken. But something inside you stirs. Their presence in the Force feels different. It's not the same warmth you once knew from your fellow Jedi. It's something else, something raw, something familiar. Did you think you could escape forever? You ask, your voice a harsh whisper. The Jedi slowly turns to face you, their eyes meeting yours, and for the first time in years, you see a flicker of recognition. They know you. They remember you. You were one of us, they say softly. Their voice barely a whisper, but it cuts through you like a blade. The words hit harder than you expect. Memories flood back. The laughter of your fellow Jedi, the camaraderie of the Order, the peace you once fought for. For a brief moment, you feel the Force shift inside you, but it's gone before you can fully grasp it. The Jedi speaks again, their tone laced with sorrow. I never wanted to fight you. I never wanted to see you fall. Your heart aches, but you quickly suppress it. There is no room for weakness. This is the enemy. This is your duty. With a quick flick of your wrist, your lightsaber ignites, its crimson blade casting a harsh glow on the crumbling ruins around you. The Jedi ignites their blade in response, the familiar blue light flaring to life. The duel begins. The battle is fierce, each strike a testament to your training, to the anger and darkness that fuel your every movement. You are the predator, the hunter, and the Jedi is your prey. But as the duel continues, something shifts. You can feel their hesitation, their reluctance. They fight to defend, not to kill. Their attacks are not filled with malice, but with sorrow, and that sorrow cuts deeper than any blade ever could. The longer you fight, the more conflicted you become. You remember their voice, their face, their presence within the Order. You remember how they trained beside you, how they helped you when you struggled, how they believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself. And now, you stand before them as an enemy, as someone who has fallen too far to ever return. But you can't go back. You won't. The Inquisitor's path is all you have left. And yet, with each passing moment, the fight feels less like a mission and more like a test of who you have become. The Jedi isn't your enemy. You are. The Jedi's greatest weapon is their ability to forgive, to show mercy, a mercy that you have long since abandoned. As the final blow looms, you hesitate, just for a moment. The Jedi's expression softens, as if they see the struggle within you. They don't attack. They don't move. It's as if they're offering you a way out, offering you a choice. But you know there's no going back. The hunt has gone on too long. With a brutal cry, you strike. The Jedi falls. The Jedi is dead. Their lightsaber lies at your feet, a final testament to your victory. You stand over them, chest heaving. But there is no satisfaction in the kill. Instead, a deep emptiness fills the void inside you. The rage, the anger, the darkness. It all feels so meaningless. You kneel beside the body, your hand trembling as you take their lightsaber, the cold metal of their weapon a reminder of the person you once were, the very person you killed. The mission is over. The Jedi are nearly extinct, their resistance crushed under the weight of the Empire's will. But at what cost? You've killed so many, hunted so many, and for what? To serve a dark master, to serve the Emperor, who has no use for you but as a weapon, to continue the slaughter until there's no one left to hunt. Your soul is fractured, torn between duty and the remnants of the Jedi you once were. But there's no way back. There is no place for redemption in the Empire's world. You are no longer the Jedi you once were. You are something darker, something more dangerous. The Inquisitors are no longer hunters. They are the hunted, living on borrowed time, serving a power that will consume them just as it consumed you. But in your final moments, when you look at the galaxy and feel the weight of your actions, you realize one thing. You never escaped the Jedi. You just became their shadow. The Emperor's grip on the galaxy tightens as the Jedi's numbers dwindle, but the weight of the Empire's order feels heavier with each passing day. You are no longer a mere instrument of the Emperor's will. You've become something more dangerous, a reminder to the galaxy of its darkest days. The galaxy is silent. It's the silence after a storm, where the debris of war settles and the broken remnants of the Jedi's resistance lay scattered. Each time you carry out an order, each life you take, the darkness inside you grows. You can feel it creeping into your soul, eroding what little of the Jedi you used to be. There is no place for compassion anymore, no place for mercy, just the cold, unforgiving hunt. And yet, sometimes, in the stillness, you find your mind wandering back to the light, back to the teachings of the Jedi that once burned brightly within you. You had believed in justice, in peace, in balance. You believed in a greater good, and now, as an Inquisitor, you believe only in survival. But survival has a price. You're sent to a remote world, a backwater planet, barely touched by the Empire's reach. The Force ripples across the surface of the planet, faint but undeniable. It's a Jedi, a survivor who escaped the Purge years ago, hidden away in the folds of the galaxy. You've been tracking their movements for months now, slowly closing in. The mission is simple. Find them, bring them to the Emperor, or kill them. As you approach the Jedi's hideout, you feel the pull of their presence in the Force. It's as if they know you're coming. But they don't flee. Instead, they wait. You can't help but wonder why. Are they ready to face their death? Or is there something else at play here? The temple is ancient, long abandoned, a remnant of a time before the Clone Wars. The air inside is thick with the dust of ages past. The Jedi stands in the center of the temple, their eyes closed, meditating. It's almost as if they've been waiting for you. You draw your lightsaber, igniting the blade with a hiss that echoes in the silence. The Jedi's eyes open, but they do not move. They do not defend themselves. Instead, they speak softly, their voice carrying across the chamber. "You don't Sith have to do this," they say, their voice filled with sorrow. "You were once one of us. You don't Sith have to serve him." The words hit you like a physical blow. You pause, your lightsaber wavering in your hand. They know you. They remember you. You had trained together once. You had fought side by side. You had shared the same vision of the galaxy, one built on peace and understanding. But the galaxy has changed. The Jedi are gone, scattered and broken, and the Sith reign supreme. The Jedi's beliefs, their way of life, are no more than whispers of a distant past. And yet, this Jedi, standing before you, speaks as though they know you still have a choice. They speak as though there's still hope for you. You feel the pull of their words, but you push it down. The Empire has made you what you are now. You are their weapon, their enforcer. The Jedi are a dying breed, a threat that must be eradicated. You raise your blade, but the Jedi doesn't fight. They stand there, waiting for you to do what you've done so many times before. And as your blade swings down toward them, you feel a surge of energy, not from their lightsaber, but from their presence in the Force. It's not a fight. It's a choice. Their choice. The clash of lightsabers feels different this time. The force of their strikes is not fueled by hatred, but by something deeper, something you can barely recognize. You press them hard, pushing them back with every strike, but something in you is faltering. The anger that drives you, the rage that keeps you going, begins to feel empty. In a final desperate move, you bring your blade down, but the Jedi deflects it. There's no anger in their movements, only calm, unwavering determination. They drop their lightsaber. "Please, remember who you were," they whisper. For the first time in years, you hesitate. You are an Inquisitor. The Emperor's will is clear. You must destroy the Jedi. But in that moment, when the Jedi lowered their lightsaber and offered you a chance to reconsider, something shifted inside you. For the first time, you're not sure. And that uncertainty shakes you to your core. You've spent so long running from your past, from your former life as a Jedi, but the darkness you've embraced doesn't feel as satisfying as it once did. The more you hunt, the more you kill, the less you feel. You've become numb, trapped in a cycle of violence and destruction. The mission is clear. The Jedi must die. But can you do it? Can you strike them down, knowing that they still see a glimmer of the person you once were? You've killed so many, and yet, something about this one feels different. This one is not like the others. This one remembers you. You stand there, lightsaber raised, trembling. The Jedi watches you, their expression one of sorrow, not anger. They don't fear you. They don't want to fight you. They just want you to remember. But the Empire calls to you, pulls you back from your thoughts. You are a weapon. You have no place for mercy, no place for weakness. The Jedi watches as you make your decision. With a single strike, you end their life. The deed is done, but the weight of it crushes you. Their body lies in front of you, their lightsaber still glowing faintly in the dim light. You kneel beside them, feeling the emptiness inside you. The darkness has consumed you, but it doesn't feel powerful anymore. It feels wrong. The Jedi's face is peaceful, their eyes closed. There is no anger in their expression, only acceptance. They did not fight you. They did not resist. They were ready to die, but were you ready to be the one who took their life? You've become what you feared. You've become the thing you once swore to destroy. But the question still lingers. What now? The death of the Jedi does not fill the hole inside you. Instead, it only deepens it. You return to the Emperor, your mission complete. But there's a nagging emptiness inside. The Emperor does not care about your doubts. He does not care that you feel anything. You are a tool, an instrument of the Empire's will. The dark side is your master now. It has always been your master. The hunt for the Jedi continues. New names are given to you, new missions, new targets, but each one feels more hollow than the last. You are a weapon, but every kill only makes you more aware of your own fragility. You've given everything for the Empire. You've sacrificed your past, your identity, your very soul. But even now, as you stand before the Emperor, you feel it, that flicker of doubt. The seed of redemption has been planted, and though you try to crush it, it keeps growing. The galaxy is under the Empire's boot. The Jedi are nearly extinct. The Sith have control. But somewhere, deep within you, there's a whisper, a reminder of who you were, a reminder of the light you once followed. And it sets not something you can ignore anymore. The Inquisitor's path is a path of shadows, a path of death, a path of regret. You've hunted, you've killed, and you've buried everything that was once good about you. But the galaxy isn't just black and white. The Force isn't just dark and light. The Jedi and Sith have their roles, yes, but in the end, it's you who chooses your destiny. You've given so much to the Empire, but now, in the quiet moments, you wonder, was it worth it? Can a fallen Jedi ever return to the light? Or is this your fate, to be the Empire's hunting dog forever? The darkness within you has always been so absolute, so consuming. It was the only thing you could trust, the only thing you could rely on in the chaos of your life as an Inquisitor. But now, after so many years of killing, so many years of hunting your own kind, that certainty has begun to waver. The emptiness is more than just the result of death. It's the absence of something deeper, something you've forgotten about. Hope. The Jedi you killed, each one seemed the same at first. Just another mission, another target. But now, as the bodies pile up, you can feel the weight of each loss. They're not just victims of the Empire's wrath. They are you. They were once the people you knew, the ones you trained with. They were part of your family, your order. How long can you go on pretending that you haven't become the very thing you despised? The thought terrifies you. But it also calls to you, a whisper in the silence. You've been so long in the dark that you can barely remember what it feels like to follow the light. But it's there, the possibility of redemption, the same force that the Jedi believed in, the force that could redeem you if only you were brave enough to listen. Your mission takes you once again to the far reaches of the galaxy, where the last remnants of the Jedi still fight for their survival. But this time, something is different. You feel it in your bones. There's a spark of hope, a growing rebellion, and it's starting to gain momentum. The Rebel Alliance is organizing, trying to push back against the Empire's stranglehold on the galaxy. It's a mission like so many others. Find the Jedi, destroy them. But this time, something within you shifts. You no longer feel the cold assurance of the Empire's power. Instead, you feel the tug of something else, something stronger than fear. You feel the pull of rebellion. In the distance, you see the face of another Jedi. This one, however, is not like the others. There's no anger in their eyes, no fear. Instead, there's a calmness, a serenity that you haven't felt in so long. The Jedi does not draw their lightsaber at your approach. They do not run. They wait. "Do you really think you can kill all of us?" they ask, their voice a quiet challenge. You stare at them, struggling with the weight of their words. They don't see you as a monster. They see you as someone who could still be saved. You should kill them. The Emperor demands it, but there is something in their gaze that makes you hesitate. As you take a step closer to the Jedi, their calmness makes something within you stir. It's almost unbearable. This longing for something more than destruction. The Jedi doesn't attack. Instead, they speak again. "You don't just have to be this," they say. Their voice soft but strong. "You were once one of us. I can feel the light still within you." For a moment, you find yourself caught in the Jedi's gaze. Their words rip open a wound you've buried for so long, and that wound bleeds with everything you've tried to suppress. You think of your time as a Padawan, of the laughter, the camaraderie, the belief that you could make a difference. You think of the moment when you first became an Inquisitor, when you were torn away from that world. The fear, the anger, the drive for survival, all of it overwhelming you. This Jedi before you doesn't see you as a monster. They don't see you as an agent of the Empire. They see you as someone lost, someone who still has a chance to find their way back. And for a second, you wonder if they're right. Can you ever go back to the light? Is redemption still possible for someone like you? But just as quickly, the fear sets in again. The fear of betrayal, of weakness. The Emperor's voice echoes in your mind, reminding you of your duty, your loyalty. You've worked so hard for this, to survive, to serve the Empire. There is no turning back now. With a sharp exhale, you draw your lightsaber, but it feels different now. The hum of the blade is louder than before, more final. You can't stop. You can't hesitate. But as you swing your blade, the Jedi raises their hand. A faint glow of Force energy ripples around them, and they push you back, not with aggression, but with a simple command of the Force. They don't want to fight. They don't want to kill you. They want you to listen, to stop. For a brief moment, you almost drop your blade, but the memory of the Empire, the shadow of your former self, is too powerful. You charge forward. The battle rages, but this time, the fight feels different. The Jedi's calmness unnerves you. You've never encountered someone who doesn't fear you. Every Jedi you faced before fought to survive. This one, however, fights with compassion, not anger. You realize that they are not trying to kill you, they are trying to save you. The fight stretches on, and with each clash of your lightsabers, the emotional pull grows stronger. You are torn between your loyalty to the Emperor and the flicker of something more within you. The Jedi speaks through the strikes, their words cutting through the violence. Your path doesn't have to end in darkness. There is still light within you. You can still make the right choice. Their words are like a dagger to your heart. You've spent so long running from the past that the idea of redemption, of choosing something other than the Empire, feels almost impossible. The dark side calls to you, urging you to strike, to end the fight in your favor. But the Jedi's voice lingers in your mind, like a whisper in the Force, begging you to choose a different path. And then the breaking point comes. With one final strike, you push the Jedi to their knees, but instead of delivering the fatal blow, you hesitate once more. The sound of your heavy breathing fills the silence. In that moment, you realize that the true battle is not one of lightsabers. It is the battle within yourself. You lower your blade. The Jedi looks up at you, surprise flickering in their eyes. They don't move, waiting, as if they knew this moment would come. You have a choice, they say softly, their voice filled with hope. You stir not lost. You never were. In the quiet of that moment, you hear the words you've avoided for so long. You can choose. The moment passes, but the weight of it lingers in your mind. You stand there, lightsaber in hand, torn between the person you were and the monster you've become. The Jedi before you doesn't see a villain, doesn't see an agent of destruction. They see a person who still has the chance to return to the light. And in their eyes, you see something you've buried deep within you, hope. The choice you make now is not just for yourself. It is for everything that came before, everything you once believed in. You have been an instrument of destruction, a weapon forged in the dark. But now, with the Jedi before you, the path to redemption lies open. You take a deep breath. The weight of the moment is crushing. You could strike them down just as you've struck down so many others. But the darkness inside you doesn't feel as fulfilling as it once did. There's a flicker of something better, something worth fighting for. You lower your blade, the hum of your lightsaber fading into the silence. For the first time in years, you feel the possibility of change, the possibility of redemption. You step away from the path you've walked for so long. You've chosen something different. And as you walk away from the Jedi, you realize that the road to redemption is long and difficult, but it is a road worth walking. The galaxy may never know what you've done here today, but you know the light, though dim, still exists within you, and that is enough for now. The weight of your decision hangs heavily on you, like an anchor dragging you deeper into the unknown. You have walked the dark path for so long, served the Empire's will without question, hunted those who once shared your purpose. You know that the road ahead won't be easy. In fact, it may be the hardest road you've ever walked. But there's a feeling inside you now, something you haven't felt in years. Freedom. But it's sips of freedom laced with fear. You've taken the first step away from the Empire, but what awaits you beyond the shadows of the Inquisitors? The Jedi you spared has shown you a glimpse of what could be, but the cost of that glimpse is high. You have betrayed the Empire's trust, and though you feel a flicker of hope, you also know that the galaxy is a harsh place for someone who chooses to walk away from their duty. The fear of what you've done follows you like a shadow. If the Emperor learns of your hesitation, your defection, it could mean the end, not just for you, but for the galaxy itself. The Emperor does not forgive betrayal, and Darth Vader, the one who was once your ally, your mentor, the one who had embraced the dark side in full, will not let you go. He is your hunter now, and he will stop at nothing to bring you back under the Empire's control. You are a tool of the Empire. You've always been one, but now you are something else. You are a fugitive, a rebel in your own right, and the question weighs on you. Can you survive in a galaxy where your past is never far behind? Days pass, and the tension builds. You've left the ruins where you fought the Jedi, where you made that decision to spare their life, but your mind is not free. You hear the whispers of the past in every step you take. You feel the weight of the lives you've taken, the bodies you've left behind. You hear their voices in the stillness, accusing you, judging you. At night, you dream of your former life. You dream of the Jedi temple on Coruscant, the halls filled with the echoes of laughter, the warmth of shared knowledge. You see your younger self before you were corrupted, before the darkness took hold. You were once part of something greater, something that believed in peace, in balance. Could you return to that life, or is that part of you gone forever? The Inquisitorius is watching. You know they will come for you. The Empire cannot tolerate weakness. The Emperor will sense your defection, and soon the Inquisitors will be on your trail. They are your former comrades, your former family, and now they are your enemies. They won't hesitate to eliminate you. You need to make a choice. Continue to run, to hide in the dark, or take the next step towards something greater. The Jedi you spared spoke of redemption, but redemption isn't something that comes easily. It's a long road, and you know that road will be filled with pain, regret, and fear. But you're tired of running. You're tired of hiding. You know the road ahead will be dangerous, but for the first time you see a chance to make things right. The Empire doesn't forget. It never forgets. You are hunted now, not by the Jedi, but by those you once called allies. The Inquisitors are sent after you, each one a shadow from your past, each one a reminder of what you used to be. They have no hesitation. They will stop at nothing to bring you back to the Empire, to restore the balance that your defection threatens. As you flee deeper into the galaxy, you realize how much you've changed. Once, you would have relished the hunt. You would have savored the chase, the thrill of outsmarting your enemies. But now, with each step you take, you feel the weight of the life you've led. You've abandoned everything you once believed in. And now, as you are hunted by those you once considered family, you wonder if you can ever escape the shadow of the Empire. But in the midst of your flight, you find something unexpected, an ally. Not a Jedi, not a member of the rebellion, but someone who has seen the corruption of the Empire firsthand. Someone who understands the cost of loyalty, the cost of choosing the dark side. Her name is Jalis, a former Imperial officer turned smuggler. She knows the galaxy's darkest corners, and she is not afraid to use them. She helps you escape from the Empire's grasp, guides you through the underworld where the Empire's reach is limited. You are no longer alone. Jar Jar, like you, has been betrayed by the very system she once served. She knows the cost of loyalty to the Empire, the price of submission to its will, and now she offers you a chance to truly escape, to leave the life you've known behind and start something new. But even with Jar Jars at your side, you know the danger is far from over. The Empire's hand is long, and it will find you eventually. You can't outrun it forever. But for the first time in a long while, you feel hope stir within you. Hope that maybe, just maybe, you can make a difference. As you travel with Jarlis through the galaxy's underworld, you begin to see the possibility of a different life. You are no longer a weapon of the Empire. You are no longer an Inquisitor hunting the Jedi. You are something else now, something that is still learning how to exist in the galaxy. But even as you begin to believe in the possibility of redemption, your past is never far behind. The Empire will find you. Darth Vader will find you. And when that happens, the choice will be yours. Face the darkness once more, or stand firm in your defection. It's a choice that is as much about your soul as it is about survival. Can you truly leave the Empire behind? Can you forge a new life from the ashes of the one you burned? Or will the darkness of your past drag you back into the shadow, never to see the light again? It's inevitable. The Empire has found you, Darth Vader, your former master, the one who taught you the ways of the dark side, is coming. The Inquisitors are closing in. You've run as far as you can, but the galaxy is vast, and there is no hiding from the Emperor's reach. The final confrontation is here. The fight isn't just about survival anymore. It's about proving something to yourself, to the Jedi you once were, to the galaxy that you betrayed, and to the Emperor who has made you into the weapon you've become. You stand alone, lightsaber in hand, facing the darkness you've spent so long embracing. Your past and your future collide in this final moment, and you know that the choices you make now will define the galaxy's fate. You will face your former master, and for the first time you will make a choice that isn't dictated by the Empire's will. Will you fall once more into the dark side, or will you stand against it, choosing redemption not just for yourself, but for the galaxy? The time has come. The final blow has been struck, the battle won. You stand alone once more, but this time, the galaxy's fate is in your hands. The choices you made, the path you walked, have led you to this moment. The Empire has fallen, and the Jedi have been avenged, not through violence, but through the choices you made along the way. You are no longer an Inquisitor. You are no longer a weapon of the Empire. You are free. And for the first time, you can choose your own destiny. The road ahead is uncertain, but the galaxy is now open to you. And with that freedom, you will forge a new path, one that will lead to redemption not just for you, but for the galaxy that has known nothing but war. The days after the final confrontation feel both like a weight lifting from your shoulders and a heavy burden settling on your heart. You have defeated your past, but the remnants of your former life are still there, echoing in your mind like a distant thunderstorm. You are free, yes, but freedom is never as clean or as simple as it seems. There are consequences to every decision you've made, every path you've chosen. In the weeks that follow your departure from the Empire, you find yourself drifting. For years, you were defined by your role, the Emperor's enforcer, the Jedi hunter, the Inquisitor. That identity was everything. It gave you purpose, direction, and for a time, comfort in the certainty that your actions were justified. But now, as you stand on your own, free from the Empire's chains, you are confronted by a harsh reality. You don't know who you are anymore. Jar Jar, this your unexpected ally, stands by you. She's been through the same journey of betrayal and loss, but she's found a new life in the underworld of the galaxy, working to evade the Empire's reach. She sees the conflict within you, the pain of trying to reconcile the past with the uncertain future. You can keep running, Jar Jar sails you one night, as you sit in the shadows of a hidden safe house on the fringes of the galaxy. Not from your past, not from the Empire. You Sith made it this far, but there sips more to the galaxy than just surviving. You nod, understanding what she means. There is more to your existence than simply evading the Empire and trying to outrun your past. You know that now. But the question still lingers. What do you do now? What is your place in this galaxy after everything you've done? You can't just walk away from your actions. You can't pretend that the darkness you embraced isn't still a part of you. But it's not just about your past anymore. It's about the future. A future you can still shape despite everything you've done. The galaxy has been in turmoil for as long as you can remember. The Empire has ruled with an iron fist, and the rebellion, now the New Republic, fights to reclaim peace. The Jedi, once thought extinct, are beginning to make their return, and the Sith have left a scar on the galaxy's soul. The fight for freedom is still raging. The darkness and light are at war, But for the first time in your life, you realize you no longer have to be a part of that war. You no longer have to pick a side. Instead, you begin to form your own vision. You know that you can't erase the past. You know that the galaxy will never forget what the Empire has done. But you also know that you can be part of the healing. You can be the bridge between the old and the new, between those who wish to rebuild and those who are still trapped in the shadows of their past. The New Republic has its hands full, trying to bring order to the chaos that the Empire left behind. But there are still cracks, fractures in the galaxy that need to be mended, and you can be the one to mend them. Jar Jar sees the determination in your eyes. You're not just surviving anymore, you're living, and she's with you. Together, you begin to use your knowledge, your skills to help those who need it most. The displaced, the downtrodden, the people who have suffered under both the Empire and the Rebellion's fight for control. Yuseta, no longer a hunter, Jalis says, her voice steady but filled with the same hope that Sith is now starting to take root in you. Yuseta, something more. Yuseta, a protector, now. It's not easy. Every step you take toward redemption feels like an uphill battle. The Empire is still lurking in the shadows, its remnants scattered across the galaxy, and the Sith are never far from the galaxy's past. But you don't need to fight with a lightsaber anymore. You don't need to hunt and kill. You've realized that your true weapon is your knowledge, your understanding of the darkness you once embraced, and your ability to bring people together. You start to gather a network of individuals, not unlike the rebellion, but with a different goal: to heal, not to fight. They are the survivors of the Empire's cruelty, the refugees of war, the lost souls who have been forgotten by the galaxy. You provide them with the tools they need to survive. You give them hope. But the weight of your past is never far behind. Every time you hear a name from your past, every time you face a former ally or enemy, you are reminded of what you did and what you became. The light still feels distant, like something you can barely touch. You've come to understand that redemption is not a single moment, a single act. It's a journey, and it's a journey you're now willing to take. You will never forget the lives you've taken, the darkness you embraced. But with each day you find that the light, faint as it is, burns brighter within you. Months pass, and you find yourself in the center of something far bigger than you could have ever imagined. The New Republic begins to realize that there is more to the galaxy than just rebuilding the government. There is a need for something else, something that goes beyond politics and war. There's a need for healing, for reconciliation. The Jedi are returning, but their role in the galaxy is still uncertain. The galaxy is still full of shadows, and the question of what to do with the Sith, with their influence, with their followers, remains unanswered. The Jedi can't do it alone. The galaxy needs more than just the light. It needs understanding. It needs those who have seen the darkness and lived to tell the tale. And so, you step forward. You are no longer an Inquisitor. You are no longer a tool of the Empire. You are someone who understands both the light and the dark, someone who can walk the line between them and help others find their way. You can't change the past, but you can shape the future. The galaxy, in all its complexity, is finally beginning to heal. You've seen it in the faces of the people you've helped, in the new bonds formed between former enemies, in the tiny acts of kindness that ripple through the galaxy like a wave of change. But there is one final step, one final decision you must make. The Emperor is dead, but the remnants of the Empire still linger, still fight for control. The Jedi, now scattered and divided, are rebuilding. And there, in the darkness, are the Sith, still trying to make their presence known, still pushing for control, still fighting for the power that has always defined them. You, now a protector, now a guide, are faced with the ultimate choice. Will you stand with the Jedi, with the New Republic, and fully embrace the light, or will you continue to walk the line between light and dark, forging your own path and becoming a guardian of the galaxy's fragile peace? The choice is yours. But in your heart you know one thing: the galaxy needs balance. It needs a force that understands both the light and the dark. And you, once a Jedi, then an Inquisitor, now something more. You are the one who can provide it. As you look out over the galaxy, you realize the journey you've taken is one not of destruction, but of creation. You are no longer the hunter. You are the one who gives others the chance to find their way, to learn from the mistakes of the past. The galaxy is far from perfect, but it is healing. And you, in your own way, have become part of that healing process. The Inquisitor's life is behind you. The past, with all its darkness, has been laid to rest, and in its place stands a new hope, a hope that was once impossible. You have redeemed yourself, and in doing so, you've become a symbol of what the galaxy can be. The galaxy has begun to shift, slowly but surely. You can feel the change in the air, the energy of something new, something that wasn't there before. The new leaders of the galaxy, the remnants of the Empire, the remnants of the Jedi, the underworld rebels and their newfound alliances are all scrambling for control. But one thing is certain: the era of the old Sith is fading, the old Jedi way is crumbling, and a new path is starting to emerge, one that calls for something beyond the old dogmas. You've spent years navigating the darkness, working through the harshest parts of your own soul. But the journey has been more than just about survival. It's been about understanding the Force, about embracing the truth you had long denied, that the Force is not a tool for power, nor is it something to be controlled. It is a living thing, a presence that connects all life in the galaxy, and it is meant to be balanced, not dominated. In your travels with Jalis and your growing network of survivors, you've met others like you. Those who have seen the consequences of the Empire's reign, the cost of blind loyalty to the Sith, and the mistakes of the Jedi. They are not Jedi, nor are they Sith. They are simply Force users, people who have embraced the Force in their own way, without being shackled by the old teachings. And they too feel the pull of something greater than just fighting. They feel the need to rebuild, to restore, to find a new way forward. Together, you have begun to explore the deeper mysteries of the Force, its true nature, its potential to heal, to create, to bind. You begin to teach them what you have learned. You share your understanding of the balance that the galaxy has been missing for so long. For the first time in your life, you feel the Force as it was meant to be felt. It is not a tool for destruction, but a guide, a source of wisdom, and a call to be more than what you were. And in teaching others, you find your own redemption, not as a Jedi, not as an Inquisitor, but as someone who has finally found their place within the living Force. The years pass, and the galaxy continues to change. The old powers, the Sith and the Jedi, have all but disappeared, their ideologies broken and discarded. But the need for balance remains. You, along with your new allies, begin to rebuild, piece by piece. You travel to the far reaches of the galaxy, helping those who were lost or forgotten, providing shelter to those who had nowhere to go after the war. The New Republic, while a beacon of hope for the galaxy, still struggles with its own flaws. It's easy to form a government, but it's much harder to form a society that is truly free. The remnants of the Empire's influence linger in the shadows, and the galaxy's people are still learning how to trust one another. But in this mess, you find an opportunity to do something different, something lasting. You begin to teach the next generation of Force-sensitive individuals, not as Jedi, not as Sith, but as Force seekers, individuals who seek balance, understanding, and peace through the Force. You show them that there is no need for war, no need for conflict, when you can understand the true nature of the Force. You help them find their own path, their own place within the galaxy. The teachings you impart are not those of the Jedi Code or the Sith doctrine. They are teachings of unity, of understanding the galaxy's interconnectedness. The balance of the Force isn't just about opposing light and dark. It's about realizing that both sides are necessary for harmony. The path forward is one of cooperation, not domination. Just as you begin to feel the galaxy shifting, just as you believe you are on the path to creating something new, something unimaginable happens. A new force begins to rise in the galaxy, not the Sith, but something darker, something more insidious. It is not a political movement, but a resurgence of the fear and anger that had once fueled the Sith. It begins as a whisper, a rumor in the shadows. A group of individuals scattered across the galaxy begins to coalesce. They call themselves the Dark Seekers, and their goal is not just to resurrect the Sith, but to control the Force itself, bending it to their will, and using it to dominate the galaxy. They are not bound by the old Sith teachings. They are driven by something more dangerous, a hunger for power, a desire to control everything the Force represents. At first, you dismiss them as nothing more than another fringe movement, another dark cult seeking to manipulate the Force. But soon, you realize that this new threat is different. The Dark Seekers do not fight for the same things the Sith did. They don't just want power for power's sake. They want to control the very essence of the Force itself. You feel it in your bones. The darkness is returning. As the Dark Seekers grow in strength, you are forced to confront a painful truth. Your work, your teachings, your effort to create a new way forward, it all hangs in the balance. The dark side of the Force is not something you can easily ignore. It is a temptation, a lure, and its presence has begun to infiltrate the galaxy once more. You see it in the faces of those you once called allies, in the way they begin to lose hope, to doubt the very path you fought for. The galaxy, it seems, is still ruled by conflict. The idea that balance could exist without war, without strife, is slipping through your fingers. The Dark Seekers begin to infiltrate the New Republic, sowing distrust among the government, destabilizing the fragile peace. The Empire may have fallen, but the idea of the Empire, the desire for power, for control, has never truly left the galaxy. And now, you must face the hardest truth of all. Even the light can be corrupted. Even the brightest spark can be consumed by the shadows. The galaxy has come full circle. The Dark Seekers, with their new power, threaten to undo everything you've worked for. They are not just seeking revenge for the fall of the Sith. They are seeking to remake the galaxy in their image, to force the Force into submission, to make it an instrument of totalitarian control. You, the once fallen Inquisitor, now stand at the crossroads of the galaxy's fate. Do you rise against this new darkness, or do you accept the painful reality that balance may never be achieved? Do you fight for the galaxy you've worked so hard to rebuild, or do you abandon it to the very darkness that once consumed you? Your final choice has arrived. The Dark Seekers are powerful, and they've begun to gather followers. But you are no longer the hunter. You are the protector, the one who has found peace, the one who has struggled through the darkness and into the light. The galaxy will never be free from the shadows, but you've learned that true strength lies not in defeating the darkness, but in choosing the light. It is not an easy fight. There are sacrifices, there are losses, but for the first time you realize that the darkness is not something to be feared. It is something to be understood, to be integrated into the greater balance of the Force. Your role is not to destroy the darkness, but to bring peace in its wake. You gather your allies, the Force Seekers, and together, you make your stand against the Dark Seekers. This is the final battle for the future of the galaxy. It will not be won by lightsabers alone, but by the choices you make, by the strength of your will and the power of the Force within you. The battle is over. The galaxy is free. The Dark Seekers are no more. Their influence is scattered, their leaders defeated, but the victory feels different this time. It feels earned, not through force or domination, but through understanding. The galaxy is still broken, but the pieces are falling into place. The light is not a perfect thing. It flickers, it fades, but it also burns brighter than ever. As you look out over the stars, you realize that your journey is far from over. The galaxy will always need protectors, guides, and teachers. The Force will always need balance. And for the first time in a long while, you know who you are. You are no longer the Inquisitor. You are the keeper of the light, the one who has chosen the path of redemption, not just for yourself, but for the galaxy. You've made your peace with the past. Now, you build the future. The galaxy, once consumed by war, is now in the process of healing. The Empire's ashes have settled, and the rebellion that fought to bring it down has become a symbol of hope for countless systems. But the change is far from complete. The scars of the past are deep, etched into the fabric of the galaxy. The people still live with the echoes of the Sith's reign, the destruction, the oppression. It is not enough to have simply defeated the enemy. Now it is time to rebuild what was lost. For you, the journey has taken on new meaning. You were not only a fallen Jedi, an Inquisitor of the Empire. You are a witness to the galaxy's deepest wounds, and you know that it will take more than time to heal them. The Force you wield, the knowledge you possess, is not just for battle anymore. It is for understanding. It is for bringing about a true and lasting peace, one that can endure in a galaxy teetering on the brink of chaos. But you know, the work ahead of you is monumental. The galaxy does not heal overnight. The darkness, though defeated for now, has not vanished. It lingers in the hearts of those who still seek power, still yearn for control. You've seen it firsthand, how easy it is to slide back into old habits, to fall once more into the temptation of control, of dominance. You have no illusions about the path ahead. Even now, after the fall of the Dark Seekers and the restoration of the New Republic, there are forces at play that you cannot see. The remnants of the Empire may be gone, but the minds that served it, the systems it built, have not simply disappeared. You feel their presence. Shadowy, elusive, they hide in the corners of the galaxy, waiting for their moment to strike again. There are whispers of another threat, a movement far older than the Sith, far deeper in the dark. You cannot fully grasp its shape yet, but you know it exists. It moves in the silence, in the places between the stars, in the forgotten parts of the galaxy where no one dares to venture. They are the true remnants of the darkness, not just a government or a military, but an ideology that once ruled the galaxy with fear, manipulation, and terror. You cannot ignore it. Not again. The thought of returning to the front lines, of fighting once more, gnaws at you. The new Jedi, those you have trained in the ways of balance, are growing stronger, but they are young. They are not ready to face the challenges that lurk in the galaxy's unseen corners. It will be up to you to guide them, to ensure that they do not make the same mistakes as their predecessors. In these quiet moments, you wonder if redemption truly exists. Can one man, one former Inquisitor, truly change the course of a galaxy so steeped in darkness and conflict? You are no longer the hunter, but you are still a force in this galaxy. Your choices matter, and you have chosen a path of rebuilding. But as the years pass, the weight of the past grows heavier. Can you ever truly escape it? Your time as a wandering fugitive is over. No longer are you hiding in the shadows, trying to outrun your past. You've chosen to face it, to stand against the darkness in whatever form it takes. It's time to stop running, to stop avoiding the inevitable. The galaxy needs you, not as a weapon, but as a teacher, as a guide, as a leader. The first step is to unite the fractured remnants of the Jedi Order. You have met with the Jedi who survived the Purge, the ones who managed to escape the Empire's wrath. They are scattered across the galaxy, each in their own form of exile, each struggling with the same questions you faced. Some of them have embraced the idea of peace, but others are more reluctant, still haunted by the failures of the past. Your task is to bring them together, to forge a new path, one that understands the importance of the dark side, one that does not fear it but uses it wisely. The Jedi you knew were blinded by their own code, by the belief that only light was pure, only light could be trusted. But the true balance, you've come to realize, is found in understanding both the light and the dark. In your travels, you begin to teach the next generation of Jedi. You teach them to embrace the Force, not as a weapon, but as a guide, to understand its power, but not to be controlled by it. You teach them that redemption is not just a path for the few, but for the galaxy itself. But even as you gather the Jedi, the weight of the task presses on you. Every new student, every new face you encounter, reminds you of your failures. It's hard to look at them without seeing your own past reflected in their eyes. Just when you think you've finally found some semblance of peace, the darkness calls again. The New Republic's fragile hold on the galaxy begins to weaken as old factions, those who were once loyal to the Empire, begin to regroup. They're not the Sith, not even the remnants of the Empire. These are individuals whose ideologies are based on something much more dangerous, a belief that order can only come through absolute control, through manipulation of the Force. It is a belief that you know all too well. These new enemies are subtle. They don't show their faces. They work in the shadows, in the hearts of governments, in the minds of the people. They are not Sith, not Jedi. They are something worse. The idea of the Sith, of the dark side, of control through fear, has taken on a new form, and it is spreading like wildfire. You must confront this threat. You cannot allow the galaxy to fall back into the hands of those who wish to rule through fear, through control, through the Force itself. You gather your allies, your fellow Jedi, the ones who have trained under you, and prepare for the final confrontation. This will not be a fight to the death. This will be a fight for the soul of the galaxy. The enemy is everywhere, in every corner of the galaxy, and the battle will take place not in space or on the battlefield, but in the hearts and minds of the galaxy's people. You've come to realize that the greatest enemy is not one who uses the dark side of the Force to destroy, but one who manipulates it to control. The final battle is one not just of strength, but of ideals. The galaxy's future is at stake. Will it remain in the hands of those who seek to control it, or will the new path, the one of balance, of understanding, prevail? As you stand at the edge of this fight, you understand the true cost of your journey. It has never been about the lightsaber or the battle. It's been about the choices you've made, the choices that have defined who you are. And in this final moment, you know one thing: the galaxy is not lost, but the fight is never over. The battle ends, not in victory, but in understanding. The darkness is not defeated, but it is contained. The galaxy has learned. It has seen that the only way forward is not through domination, but through balance. The Jedi are no longer the guardians of the light alone. They are now the keepers of the Force, understanding its depth, its complexity. The New Republic is rebuilt, but it is different now. It is not perfect, but it is better. And as you stand before the new council, the last of the Jedi, you realize that you are no longer the person who once hunted your own kind. You have found your redemption. Not through battle, not through the destruction of the dark side, but through understanding it. You are no longer an Inquisitor. You are the keeper of the balance. With the final confrontation over, and the galaxy recovering from the darkness that once consumed it, there's a strange sense of peace that lingers in the air. It's fragile, like a new bud beginning to bloom after a harsh winter. The galaxy is no longer ruled by the Empire or the remnants of the Sith, but the scars of the past remain, and the battle for a lasting peace has only just begun. In the years following the war, you take your place among the rebuilding Jedi Order. The galaxy, however, is not as ready for the peace you envisioned. Factions rise, once more trying to seize control, to manipulate power for their own benefit. You and those you've trained must continue to serve as the guardians, not of peace through war, but peace through unity and balance. But even now, in this new galaxy, the shadows remain. The darkness you once served still whispers. The Empire may have been defeated, but its legacy endures. And as much as you try to walk the path of balance, you know that it will always be a fight, not just for the galaxy, but for your soul. As the Jedi continue to rebuild, so too does your understanding of the Force. You've taught your students that balance is the key, that the dark and light sides must coexist, that the Force cannot be controlled but must be embraced in all its complexities. But the deeper you dive into the mysteries of the Force, the more you realize that there are things even the Jedi have never fully understood. The Force is not just a tool to be wielded, it is a living entity, a presence that exists beyond the boundaries of light and dark. You begin to feel the whispers of the Force more clearly, sensing the galaxy's pulse in ways you never could before. It speaks not just to you, but to everyone, to every living being, to every corner of the galaxy. And the more you listen, the more you understand. The Force is not just a weapon, it is a reflection of the universe itself, constantly shifting, constantly evolving. You begin to explore the Force beyond the confines of the Jedi teachings. You learn to listen to it not just as a tool for battle, but as a way to understand the universe's deeper truths. And in doing so, you begin to see something new, something that could change the course of the galaxy forever. But with this new understanding comes new challenges. The Jedi Code, while offering structure, has always been limiting. It has always been a way to control the Force, to keep it confined to a set of rules. You realize now that true mastery of the Force is not in controlling it, but in allowing it to flow freely, to be understood in its entirety. As you delve deeper into your study of the Force, a new darkness begins to stir. It is subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but you feel it. You feel the Force shifting, as though something is being drawn to the galaxy's energy, something ancient, something that has been waiting in the shadows for a long time. The Sith may have been defeated, but the dark side of the Force is not so easily eradicated. It lingers, waiting for the right moment to return. And now, that moment is drawing near. The dark side that you once embraced is not gone. It is merely lying in wait. There are those who are still drawn to its power, who still crave its influence. You begin to see whispers of a new Sith movement, not led by a single Dark Lord, but by a collective of individuals who are beginning to understand the true nature of the dark side. They are not like the Sith Lords of the past. They are more subtle, more patient. They are not interested in ruling the galaxy. They are interested in controlling it from within. You feel the pull of the dark side once more, but you resist. The path to balance has been long and hard-earned. You will not allow the galaxy to fall back into the same cycle of destruction. But the Sith are returning, and this time they are not the same as before. They are a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy's peace is short-lived. The Sith have risen again, not with the flash and grandeur of the past, but with subtlety and cunning. They infiltrate the galaxy's governments, manipulating the weak-minded, spreading their influence in the shadows. The New Republic, despite its best efforts, is divided, torn apart by the very forces that seek to control it. The Jedi Order, though united in their belief of balance, is still struggling to adapt to the shifting tides. As a leader of the Jedi, you begin to feel the strain. The galaxy is on the brink of chaos, and you know that the choices you make now will determine the future of everything. Do you stand by the Jedi Code, holding on to the teachings that have served the Order for millennia, or do you embrace the new understanding of the Force, one that acknowledges both the light and the dark, and seek a new way to ensure the galaxy's survival? The Dark Seekers, the new Sith, are more dangerous than ever. They are not content to simply destroy the Jedi. They are trying to reshape the galaxy in their image, using their knowledge of the Force to control not just individuals, but entire systems. The balance of the Force is at stake, and you know that this time the fight will not be about destruction. It will be about control. You prepare for war, not with lightsabers, but with ideas, with knowledge, and with the power of the Force itself. This is the final battle, the battle for the soul of the galaxy, and you are at the center of it. The battle is long, the stakes higher than ever, but in the end, it is not violence that will save the galaxy. It is understanding. The Sith, despite their cunning and strength, are defeated not by lightsabers, but by the very balance that the Jedi have always sought to maintain. You have finally found peace, not in the absence of darkness, but in its understanding. The Force is not something to be controlled, but to be embraced. And through this understanding, you bring the galaxy together. The Jedi, the Sith, the Force, it all comes full circle. You are no longer just a Jedi. You are no longer an Inquisitor. You are something new, a force of balance in the galaxy, a protector and a guide. And with the galaxy's future in your hands, you know that the work is never truly over. The Force will always need balance. It will always need guardians. And you will be there, walking the line between the light and the dark, ensuring that the galaxy does not fall into chaos again. The galaxy has found its peace, but the story is never over. The shadows will always linger, and the darkness will always seek a way back into the galaxy's heart. But now, the galaxy has learned, through you, through the Jedi, through the lessons of the past, that balance is the key. You have built a legacy, not of war, not of destruction, but of understanding. And in that understanding, you have given the galaxy a future free from the cycle of darkness and light, a future where the Force is not an instrument of power, but a force for good. And as you stand once more on the edge of the galaxy, looking out at the stars, you know that this is only the beginning. The path ahead is long, but you are not afraid. The galaxy is yours to guide, and you will not fail. Time moves forward, and the galaxy begins to change. But with every new beginning comes the inevitable shadow of the past. Even as the New Republic stabilizes and the Jedi Order is rebuilt, a feeling lingers in the Force, a ripple in the fabric of peace. Not everyone in the galaxy is content with this new path. The remnants of the Empire may have scattered, but their influence still echoes through the systems, through the minds of those who once believed in the power of control and fear. Some are loyal to the memory of the Sith, others to the order the Empire imposed, and some are searching for something even darker. The galaxy is still healing, and that healing is fragile. Your role in the Force is no longer that of a warrior, but a leader, a guide. But what does it mean to lead in a galaxy that is still so broken? The memories of the Clone Wars, the rise of the Empire, and the fall of the Jedi are still fresh in the minds of many. And just as the galaxy is beginning to rebuild, it's clear that not everyone shares the same vision for the future. The Dark Seekers, a new faction that's rising to power, believe that true order can only come through dominance. They've learned from the failures of the Sith and the Jedi alike. They understand the weaknesses of both. Their goal is not merely to destroy, but to dominate, to reshape the galaxy's very essence, to make it a place where the Force is harnessed not as a tool of balance, but as a weapon of ultimate control. They know what you've learned. The balance of the Force is the true power, and they intend to tip that balance, tilting it so that darkness reigns supreme. The New Republic is struggling to maintain its unity. It is filled with factions that are constantly at odds, each with their own agendas and fears. There is no clear path forward, only fractured steps toward a distant hope. And the Jedi Order, while growing in strength, is still trying to find its place in this new galaxy, struggling with the burden of their past mistakes. You feel the pull of both sides. You've seen the chaos that the Sith created. You've seen the corruption of the Jedi. And now, with the rise of the Dark Seekers, you're faced with the same question that has plagued you for so long. Where does the galaxy go from here? Is balance truly possible? Or is the galaxy doomed to repeat its mistakes, always torn between the light and dark? The Dark Seekers are growing stronger. You can feel their presence rippling through the Force. At first, they were nothing more than whispers, shadowed figures moving through the galaxy's darkest corners. But now, they are organizing, coming together with a purpose to control the galaxy once and for all, to ensure that the balance of the Force will never again tip in favor of the Jedi. You've felt their presence before. The hunger for power, the corruption of the dark side. They aren't the Sith of old. They are something new, something more insidious. They understand that power doesn't need to come from violence alone. It can come from control, from influence, from manipulation of the mind and the Force. You've seen this before. You've been part of it. The fear, the domination, the lie that absolute control can bring peace. It is a lie. And yet, the allure of that power still calls to you. The dark side whispers in the back of your mind, reminding you of your past, of what you once embraced, but now you know better. The darkness may be seductive, but it is not the answer. Still, the dark seekers are a threat. They must be stopped, not with brute force, but with understanding. You cannot simply kill the darkness. You must teach the galaxy to resist it, to choose the light, even when it seems impossible. And that means confronting the darkness head-on, not just as a Jedi, but as someone who has seen its seductive power up close. In the midst of the growing unrest, an unexpected figure reappears. Ahsoka Tano, a former Jedi who left the Order long before the Purge, returns to offer her assistance. She is not the Jedi you once knew, not the child who fought beside you in the Clone Wars. She is something more, someone who understands the failures of both the Jedi and the Sith, someone who has walked away from the path of the Jedi, but never strayed from the Force. Ahsoka's return is both a blessing and a curse. She brings with her the knowledge of the old ways, but also a new understanding of what it means to be a Force user. She teaches you that balance is not just about light and dark, it's about the Force itself. It is not something to be wielded, but something to be understood, something to be respected. Her perspective challenges your own. She does not believe that the Jedi should ever return to their old ways. She does not believe that the Force is something to be controlled. She believes that the galaxy must find its own way, one that does not follow the mistakes of the past. Together, you begin to rally the Jedi who remain, teaching them a new way, one that does not rely on dogma, but on understanding, on balance. The galaxy does not need another war. It needs peace, true peace, not born of power or control, but of understanding and cooperation. But the Dark Seekers are relentless. They are not interested in peace. They are interested in domination. The Dark Seekers launch their full-scale assault. They have infiltrated the New Republic's highest ranks, using their power to sway key leaders and undermine the stability of the galaxy. They do not fight with armies or lightsabers, but with influence, with persuasion, and with the dark side of the Force. You feel their presence growing stronger, spreading like a virus through the galaxy. They are everywhere, quietly working to destabilize the systems that have already been so deeply scarred by the war. The Jedi, the New Republic, and the galaxy's citizens are caught in the web they have woven. It is no longer just a fight for the galaxy's future. It is a fight for its soul. And you must make the hardest decision of your life. The galaxy is teetering on the edge of chaos. The New Republic is divided. The Jedi are scattered, their influence growing but not yet strong enough to stand against the darkness that is closing in. The Dark Seekers, though hidden in plain sight, have gained control of entire star systems, and their power is growing by the day. You and Ahsoka gather the remaining Jedi and prepare to confront this new threat head-on. But it is not enough to defeat the Dark Seekers with lightsabers. This time, it will be a battle for the hearts and minds of the galaxy. You must show the galaxy what true balance looks like, not through fear, not through control, but through cooperation and understanding. You understand now that the battle is not just between light and dark, it is between freedom and control. The Dark Seekers want power. They want to dominate, but the galaxy needs something more. It needs balance. The confrontation with the Dark Seekers will be long and grueling. Their influence spreads like a sickness. But you, alongside Ahsoka and the Jedi you have trained, will stand as a beacon of hope in the darkness. You will not fight to destroy, but to protect. You will not fight to dominate, but to teach. The final battle is not won with swords or blasters. It is a battle of ideas, of philosophies. The Dark Seekers want to impose their will on the galaxy, to shape it in their own image. But you and Ahsoka stand as living proof that there is another way, a way where balance, not control, is the key to peace. You confront the leader of the Dark Seekers, a figure shrouded in mystery, who calls themselves the Emperor's Hand. They are powerful, but they are not unbeatable. And in the moment of truth, when the galaxy is on the brink of destruction, you show them the truth of the Force. You show them that balance does not mean control. It means understanding. It means cooperation. It means allowing the galaxy to find its own path. The final confrontation is a battle for the galaxy's soul. The Dark Seekers are defeated, but their influence lingers. The fight for balance is never over, but you know that you and the Jedi will continue the fight, not with weapons, but with hope. The galaxy begins to heal once more. The darkness has been vanquished, but the journey is far from over. There will always be those who seek power, those who wish to control the galaxy, but there will also always be those who stand against them, who fight not for control but for peace. You stand as one of the last Jedi, but you are not alone. The galaxy has found its path, and you will continue to walk it, not as a Jedi, but as a guardian of balance. The Force is not just light and dark. It is life. It is the galaxy. It is the galaxy's future. And that future will be built on understanding, on cooperation, on the belief that balance can be achieved. As the dust settles from the final battle, the galaxy stands on the precipice of something new. The defeat of the Dark Seekers has left an indelible mark on the galaxy, but the work is far from finished. The New Republic, while victorious, is struggling to hold on to its fragile unity. The remnants of the Empire still exist in the minds and hearts of many, and there are whispers of those who would attempt to rebuild it from the shadows. You stand at the heart of it all, tasked with the seemingly impossible rebuilding the Jedi Order and ensuring that the balance you fought so hard to restore is not lost again. The challenges before you are immense, but the opportunity for something greater is within reach. A galaxy once filled with fear and conflict now has the chance to evolve. And you, the former Inquisitor, are at the center of this transformation. The Jedi are no longer what they once were. You have seen too much, experienced too much, to ever believe in their old ways. You have learned that true strength is not in control, but in understanding. It's not about mastering the Force. It's about listening to it, letting it flow through you and respecting its vastness. The Jedi Order, as it once was, cannot be the path forward. You must build something new, something that recognizes the balance of light and dark, of hope and despair, and acknowledges that the Force is not something to be wielded, but something to be lived. But this path is not easy. There are still those who cling to the old ways, who believe that the Jedi should be the guardians of peace, the wielders of justice. They resist your vision, believing that the old teachings must be restored, and yet you know better. The Jedi cannot live in the past. They must grow, adapt, and change. With the help of those who survived the Empire's tyranny, those who have seen the galaxy's darkness firsthand, you begin the process of rebuilding the Jedi. It is not an easy task. You must train them, but you also must teach them the lessons that the old order failed to understand, that the Force is not something to control, not something to dominate, but something to be understood and respected. These new Jedi are not like the ones of the past. They are not taught to view the Force as something that can be used as a weapon, but as something that connects all life in the galaxy. They learn not to fight for control, but to fight for balance. They learn that the dark side is not something to be destroyed, but something to be integrated into their understanding of the Force. You spend years training them, guiding them, and as they begin to learn the ways of balance, you start to see the galaxy changing as well. The fear that once gripped the galaxy is beginning to fade, replaced by something else: hope. Despite the New Republic's growing strength, the darkness is never far behind. As you work to rebuild the Jedi Order, you are confronted by the remnants of the Sith, those who still cling to the old ways of power and domination. They are not unified like they once were, but their influence lingers in the underworld, in the forgotten corners of the galaxy. The Sith are not defeated. They have merely gone into hiding, biding their time. And now, you find yourself facing the remnants of the Empire once more. They are not the same as before, but their hunger for control is unchanged. The galaxy is still divided, and there are those who would see it fall into chaos once more. You can feel it, the darkness stirring in the shadows. The remnants of the Sith are plotting once again, gathering their forces, their influence. They have learned from their previous mistakes, and they are more dangerous than ever. They are no longer just a threat to the Jedi. They are a threat to the galaxy itself. The galaxy is fragile, and the New Republic is struggling to hold on to its unity. The political divisions within the Republic grow wider each day, as factions argue over how to rebuild and who should hold power. The galaxy is recovering from the scars of war, but the wounds are still fresh. The desire for peace is strong, but so is the temptation to seek control, to impose order by any means necessary. You are no longer the Jedi you once were, and the galaxy is no longer the one you fought to protect. The Jedi have learned from their mistakes, but the galaxy is still learning. The question now is, can the New Republic and the Jedi truly bring lasting peace to the galaxy? Can they overcome the darkness that still lingers in the shadows? The answer is not simple. It never is. There are no easy solutions, no quick fixes, but one thing is clear. The galaxy is at a crossroads, and the choices made now will determine its future. The Jedi, the New Republic, and the Force itself will need to find a new path forward, a path that embraces both the light and the dark, a path that understands the complexity of the galaxy and its people. So as determining laws, the New Republic struggles to maintain peace. A new threat emerges from the shadows. It is not the Sith, not in the way you remember. It is a darker, more insidious force. A resurgence of the Emperor's legacy, not through power, but through influence. The Emperor may be dead, but his vision lives on in the hearts and minds of his followers. These individuals do not seek to rule with the same overt force as the Sith, but they seek something more dangerous: control through manipulation, through subtlety. They work in the shadows, pulling the strings behind governments, behind systems, behind people. They are the true legacy of the Sith, not just a power structure, but an ideology. The belief that the galaxy must be controlled, that only through domination can there be peace. The dark side has returned, but not as a force of destruction, as a force of subjugation. As the threat of the Emperor's legacy grows, the Jedi are once again faced with a question: what is their role in the galaxy? Can they continue to follow the old teachings, the old way of the Jedi Code? Or must they evolve? Must they adapt to the galaxy's changing needs? The Jedi Order you've built is not perfect. It is young, still growing, still learning. But it is different from what came before. The Jedi of old were bound by rules and dogma. unwilling to see the larger picture, unwilling to embrace the balance that you now understand. The Jedi of today must be more. They must be warriors, yes, but also healers, guides, and teachers. You are the leader of this new order, but you are not alone. The Jedi you have trained are ready for the challenges ahead. Together, you will face the Emperor's legacy, not with brute strength, but with wisdom, with understanding. You will stand against the darkness, but you will do so in a way that ensures the galaxy's future is not dictated by fear, but by choice. The day comes when the last remnants of the Emperor's legacy rise to confront the Jedi and the New Republic. They are not a traditional enemy, not a military force, but something more insidious, a movement of minds, a rebellion of ideologies. They do not seek control through weapons or armies, but through influence, through persuasion, through the very fabric of the galaxy's political systems. The battle is not one of lightsabers, but of ideas. It is a war for the soul of the galaxy. A war between freedom and control, between balance and domination. As the Jedi and the New Republic face the Emperor's legacy head-on, you realize that this battle will be different. It is not a fight for survival. It is a fight for the galaxy's future. And in the end, it is not the Force that will win the war. It is the choices of the people, the choices of the galaxy's leaders that will shape the future. The Jedi will stand, not as conquerors, but as guardians of balance. They will fight, not with fear, but with hope, and together they will show the galaxy that the light will always return, no matter how deep the darkness may seem. The battle ends, not with victory, but with the knowledge that the fight is never truly over. The galaxy is free, for now. The Jedi Order continues to evolve, to adapt, to guide the galaxy toward peace. And though there will always be darkness, there will always be those who choose to stand against it. You have come full circle, from a fallen Jedi to an Inquisitor, to a leader of the new Jedi Order. You have seen the galaxy at its darkest, and now you stand as a beacon of light, a reminder that even in the deepest shadows, there is always hope. The legacy of the Jedi is not one of perfection. It is a legacy of struggle, of growth, of redemption, and that is what makes it worth fighting for. The galaxy has finally begun to settle into a fragile peace. The remnants of the Sith have been extinguished, and the Jedi, now reformed, have taken on new roles as guardians of balance and harmony. The New Republic, though divided at times, remains a beacon of hope in the galaxy. But the past is never truly gone. The darkness that once sought to consume everything in its path is like a shadow that lingers, always on the edges of the light. The New Republic's victory over the remnants of the Empire was significant, but the galaxy has learned that there is no such thing as an eternal peace. Even the most hopeful, optimistic visions must contend with the harsh reality that the cycle of light and dark will continue as long as life exists. And now, a new threat looms. Not from the Sith, not from the Empire, but from something even more insidious, the return of an ancient dark power that has existed in the galaxy long before the Sith and Jedi ever did. The dark presence, a force so old and primal that even the Jedi know little of it, begins to stir once again. You have seen its marks before. A ripple in the Force, an unexplainable shift that chills your very core. There are whispers from the dark corners of the galaxy, and with it comes a sense of dread. You feel the familiar pull of the dark side once more, but this time it is not as a tool of the Sith. It is something deeper, older, and far more dangerous. It was always said that the Force is balanced by the light and the dark. But what if the balance itself is a lie? What if there are forces within the galaxy that are beyond the understanding of even the Jedi, and their darkness is not just the darkness of the Sith, but something even older? You and the Jedi Order have spent so much time learning, teaching, rebuilding, but now you face the true test. The galaxy's future is at stake once again, and this time, the fight will not be about defeating a visible enemy. It will be about confronting the unknown, the unseen forces that have always been lurking beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to strike. As the threat of the dark presence begins to grow, you are forced to venture into areas of the galaxy that have long been avoided, forgotten by most, and unexplored by the New Republic. There are remnants of ancient temples, unknown and forbidden places where the Force's true nature can be studied and feared. With the help of a few trusted Jedi, you embark on a journey to uncover the origins of this new darkness. You seek answers to questions that the Jedi Order has avoided for centuries. What lies beyond the light and dark? What ancient secrets remain hidden in the depths of the Force? And perhaps most importantly, how can you confront a darkness that is not bound by the rules of either the Jedi or the Sith? Your search takes you to the farthest reaches of the galaxy, to planets long abandoned and thought to be insignificant. On one such world, you find traces of something ancient, the Force unseen, a manifestation of power that predates the Jedi and the Sith. It is something far older than anything you've ever encountered, an energy that flows not in balance, but in chaos. It is not dark, and it is not light. It is simply pure, untamed, uncaring, and unyielding, and it calls to you. In the deep reaches of the unknown regions, you uncover the remains of ancient civilizations that existed long before the rise of the Republic or the formation of the Jedi. These cultures worship something beyond the Force, something that shaped the galaxy itself. They were not Jedi, nor Sith. They were something else entirely. Their temples, once grand and now crumbling, hold the key to understanding the true nature of the Force. You find writings that describe the unseen Force, a power that exists outside the established boundaries of the light and dark, a force that transcends the Jedi and the Sith. It is a dangerous knowledge, and one that could turn the galaxy upside down if it is ever understood fully. As you begin to decipher the ancient texts, you realize that this power is not something that can be controlled. It is not something that can be used for good or evil. It is simply an energy that exists, a force that has shaped the galaxy since its inception. It is not bound by the rules of the Jedi or the Sith. It is a chaotic force, one that can bring destruction or creation depending on how it is wielded. The more you learn about the unseen force, the more you understand its true power. It is not a power to be feared, but to be respected. It does not seek balance. It seeks freedom. Freedom to shape the galaxy in ways that neither the Jedi nor the Sith can ever truly comprehend. And with this knowledge comes a terrifying realization. If the dark presence is tied to this ancient energy, it is not something you can defeat with lightsabers or the Force alone. It must be understood, embraced, or destroyed. As the unseen force begins to make its presence felt, you realize that you are no longer just a protector of balance. You are the galaxy's last hope. The Jedi Order, the New Republic, and even the Sith, they all fail to see what is happening. The true battle is not for control of the galaxy. It is for control of the Force itself. You, along with the few Jedi who have studied the ancient texts, are the only ones who truly understand the nature of the unseen force. The question is not whether it can be controlled, but whether it can be harnessed. You stand at a crossroads, Do you continue down the path of the Jedi, holding on to the teachings of the past? Or do you embrace this new understanding of the Force, a path that is unknown, dangerous, but potentially far more powerful than anything you've ever known? The answer is clear. The galaxy cannot survive if it continues to fight over the light and dark. It must find a new way, a new path, and that path leads to ascension, the merging of light, dark, and the unseen. But to ascend, you must sacrifice everything. Your identity as a Jedi, your place in the galaxy, your connection to the past. You must become something more, something that transcends the boundaries of the Force itself, something that can bring true balance, not through power but through understanding. You are ready. Ready to leave behind the teachings of the Jedi, ready to confront the unseen Force, and ready to embrace your new role. The galaxy will not understand, but it will learn. You will become the bridge between the Force's extremes, between light and dark, chaos and order. And through this, you will lead the galaxy into a new era, one where the Force is no longer a weapon, but a tool for ascension. The time has come. You've learned all you can from the ancient texts, from the whispers of the unseen Force. You've walked the path of the Jedi, the path of the Inquisitor, the path of the survivor. Now, you must walk the path of ascension, where the Force is neither light nor dark, but something more. As you stand before the gates of the ancient temple, a sense of finality washes over you. You know that this is the moment when everything changes. This is the moment when the galaxy will either find peace or descend into chaos once again. You step inside, the energy of the unseen Force swirling around you. It is not like anything you have felt before. It is raw, primal, and yet strangely calming. You feel the galaxy's pulse through the Force, and you know that you are not alone. The trials begin. Through the trials, you find yourself confronting everything you have ever feared. Your past as a Jedi, your time as an Inquisitor, the darkness you once embraced. The unseen Force shows you the truth, not just of the galaxy, but of yourself. The power you seek is not in control, not in domination, but in understanding, understanding the galaxy, understanding the Force, and understanding your place within it. You are no longer a servant of the light or dark. You are a force of balance, a force that transcends both. You ascend. The galaxy has entered a new era. The Jedi Order no longer governs the Force. The Sith no longer holds sway over its dark side. The unseen Force is now a part of the galaxy, a force of balance, of understanding, of creation. It is not controlled, but embraced. And you, once a fallen Jedi, once an Inquisitor, now stand as the keeper of the new Force, the Force of Ascension. You are the bridge, the guide, the protector of balance in a galaxy that no longer fears the dark or the light. You are the ascendant. The galaxy has endured a cycle of destruction, survival, and rebuilding. Empires have risen and fallen. Jedi and Sith have fought countless wars, each thinking they could impose their vision of the galaxy upon the Force. But through it all, one truth has remained. The Force is not a tool to be wielded, but a living presence that flows through everything. You, once an Inquisitor, once a Jedi, have come to understand that the true path to peace is not in controlling the galaxy, or even in defeating its darkness, but in embracing the complexity of the Force, the light, the dark, and the unseen. The balance of the Force does not lie in domination, but in understanding and cooperation. Your journey has been long and filled with sacrifices. You have hunted your own kind. You have faced your own darkness. You have lived through a galaxy's destruction. And now, as the keeper of balance, you stand as a bridge between the extremes of the galaxy. You have transcended the roles that were once imposed on you, evolving from a tool of the Empire to a guardian of the Force. The Jedi, no longer bound by the rigid dogma of the past, now see the true nature of the Force. The Sith, who once sought power at any cost, now understand that their quest for control was a futile path. The galaxy, though still broken, begins to heal, not because of any one person or ideology, but because of a collective understanding that only balance can bring true peace. As you watch the stars once more, knowing that your journey has reached its apex, you understand one final truth. The Force is not about defeating darkness. It is about creating light in its place. And in that light, the galaxy will continue to grow, to evolve, and to embrace a future where balance reigns. The end of one era, the beginning of another.